15 Best Houseplants to Grow in Summer. Easy to grow houseplants for good summer health. Hello, beautiful souls of earthly delights. Whether you've been tending to houseplants for years or just brought home your very first leafy friend, I'm so glad you're here. If you've clicked on this video, you're probably someone who finds calm in green spaces. Someone who feels the quiet joy of watching a new leaf unfurl, who notices how sunlight transforms a room when it hits just right. Maybe you're a busy professional craving a softer rhythm at home. Maybe you're nurturing a family, and the only still moment in your day is when you water your plants. Or maybe, just maybe, you're healing, growing, and looking for something to care for that quietly gives back. Wherever you are on your plant journey, this video is for you. Today, I'll be sharing 15 of the very best houseplants to grow in summer. Plants that not only thrive in warm weather, but bring wellness, beauty, and balance into your everyday life. So go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Because here at Earthly Delights, we don't just grow plants. We grow peace. We grow purpose. And together, we keep growing. Part 1. Low Maintenance Heroes for the Hot Season. Summer doesn't wait for perfect conditions. It arrives bold and bright, ready or not. And for those of us juggling life's chaos, some plants are made to thrive with us, not against us. These are the resilient green allies that ask little, yet give so much in return. 1. Snake plant, the stoic guardian. If you've ever felt like life is pulling you in a dozen directions, work deadlines, family responsibilities, moments when even making a cup of tea feels like a luxury, the snake plant is the one that understands. This plant doesn't need your constant attention. It doesn't wilt at the first sign of neglect. It simply stands. Tall, silent, steady. With its upright sword-like leaves edged in green or gold, the snake plant adds structure and calm to any corner of your home. In summer, it subtly awakens, sending up new shoots with quiet strength, reminding you that growth doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. It thrives in bright spaces but won't complain in shade. It holds water like a desert traveler and purifies the air while asking for nothing more than a sip now and then. For anyone living a full, often overwhelming life, this is your plant. A reminder that resilience can look like stillness. That presence doesn't always mean action, and that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply remain rooted. Let's move on now to another summer companion, just as forgiving but far more playful. 2. ZZ plant. Strength in silence. If the snake plant is your silent guardian, the ZZ plant is your steady companion. Always there, always dependable, even when everything else feels uncertain. Life gets busy, doesn't it? Some days you barely have time to breathe, let alone remember to water your plants. But the ZZ doesn't mind. It's not here to demand, it's here to endure. With glossy, deep green leaves that seem to catch and reflect every bit of light, the ZZ plant brings elegance without effort. And in summer, when the light shifts and the days stretch long, it responds gently, pushing up thick, new stalks from below the soil, slowly, calmly, like a breath drawn in peace. It prefers to dry out completely between waterings and can thrive in rooms where sunlight barely reaches. It's not dramatic, it's deliberate. For those of you who carry quiet strength, who show up even when you're running on empty, the ZZ plant is your mirror. It reminds us that resilience doesn't need applause, that growing slowly doesn't mean growing small, and that sometimes the best things in life are the ones that quietly keep going. And next, we turn to a plant that doesn't just survive the summer heat, it heals through it. 3. Aloe Vera, the healing minimalist. There's something deeply comforting about aloe vera. Maybe it's the way it looks, sleek, sculptural, and slightly wild. Or maybe it's what it gives, quietly and generously. In a season that's all about heat and sun, this plant offers its own kind of remedy. A cool touch, a soft answer to harsh days. You might pass it by thinking it's too simple, but aloe's beauty is in its purpose. Those thick, spiked leaves are filled with soothing gel that's been used for centuries to ease sunburns, calm irritated skin, and even add moisture back to air-conditioned rooms. And in June, when the sun hangs high and golden, aloe thrives. It reaches upward, taking in the light like a quiet ritual, growing stronger without a fuss. It loves a bright window. It prefers to dry out completely between waterings. In fact, too much care is often its only enemy. So for the overthinker, the overgiver, or the overwhelmed, aloe teaches you a new rhythm. a slower one. This isn't just a houseplant, it's your reminder to rest, to restore, and to keep something gentle close at hand. Let's meet the next green friend who brings whimsy and ease to even the busiest homes. 4. Ponytail Palm, the whimsical survivor. At first glance, the ponytail palm might make you smile, and that's exactly the point. With its bulbous base and cascading hair-like leaves that dance in the summer breeze, it brings a sense of whimsy to any space. It's the plant that doesn't take itself too seriously, and maybe that's exactly the kind of energy your home needs right now. But don't be fooled by its playful look. This plant is a master of survival. Beneath its quirky crown is a built-in water reservoir, tucked safely in its thick trunk, allowing it to thrive through dry spells and forgetful weeks. It loves bright light and warm air, making summer its favorite season to quietly stretch and flourish. If your schedule is unpredictable or your energy comes and goes, the ponytail palm is the perfect match. It asks for little, yet always brings presence. It's the kind of plant that teaches you how to embrace lightness both literally and emotionally. And as we continue on, we'll meet a plant that may not look like much at first, but proves to be nearly impossible to bring down, no matter what life throws its way. 5. Cast iron plant, the unbreakable friend. Some plants whisper elegance, others radiate joy, but the cast iron plant, it stands for one thing: endurance. Named after its near-indestructible nature, this plant is for anyone who's ever felt a little too busy, a little too distracted, or a little too unsure about their green thumb. Its deep green, glossy leaves grow slow and steady, rising from the soil like quiet affirmations. It doesn't need bright light or frequent care. In fact, it prefers to be left alone, thriving in shady corners where most plants would falter. And during the summer, when the heat intensifies, this plant doesn't flinch. It simply keeps going, unbothered and beautiful. If your life feels chaotic or your home has more shade than sun, the cast iron plant won't just survive, it will flourish. It's the quiet champion for those who don't have time to fuss over watering schedules or perfect placement. And maybe that's why it feels so comforting, because in a world that often demands more, this plant teaches you that showing up, calm, consistent, and rooted, is enough. Now let's shift into a lighter mood, where plants don't just endure, they uplift. Part 2. Uplifting, mood-boosting companions. Summer isn't just about surviving the heat, it's about feeling alive in it. This next group of plants is here to brighten your mood, energize your space, and remind you that joy can grow in even the smallest pot, with just a little light and love. 6. Pothos, the joyful climber. There's something irresistibly hopeful about a pothos. It doesn't stay where it's planted, it reaches, it stretches, it climbs, and in doing so it transforms every space it touches, softening edges and adding life to forgotten corners. Its heart-shaped leaves shimmer in rich greens, golden streaks, or creamy marbling, like nature's own paintbrush at work. In the warm embrace of summer, it grows with quiet determination, sending out new vines that seem to say, "I'm still growing. You can too." And here's what makes it magical for so many. It's forgiving. Miss a watering, it bounces back. Forget sunlight, it adapts. Want more of it? Snip a vine, place it in water, and you'll watch roots emerge like a miracle unfolding before your eyes. For anyone craving a small win, a visual reminder that growth is possible, no matter the pace or place, pothos is your plant. It doesn't judge your learning curve, it joins you in it. Let's continue now to a plant that doesn't just uplift, it multiplies, reminding us that generosity often starts with green. 7. Spider plant, the generous giver. Some plants grow, but the spider plant? It gives. Over and over again, with long, arching leaves that spill like green ribbons from a central fountain, this cheerful plant brings a sense of lightness wherever it lives. But the real magic happens when it starts to produce babies, tiny spiderets that dangle from long stems like joyful little gifts waiting to be shared. In summer, this giving spirit comes alive. The warmer days and longer light awaken its playful energy, and soon you'll see new offshoots forming, each one a promise of renewal. It's almost as if the plant is celebrating your care by multiplying itself in return. It's easy to love, and even easier to keep. Just a bit of indirect light, regular watering, and this plant thrives. Even if you forget it now and then, it bounces back with grace. For those of you with nurturing hearts, or anyone needing a daily reminder that generosity comes full circle, the spider plant offers both beauty and abundance. And now, let's meet a houseplant that adds not just green, but gorgeous living color to your summer space. 8. Chinese Evergreen, the subtle brightener. Not all color needs to be loud. Sometimes it's the quiet accents, the soft pinks, the gentle silvers, the cool greens that shift the mood of a room without ever stealing the spotlight. That's the magic of the Chinese Evergreen. This plant is the definition of graceful resilience. Its leaves, often patterned like watercolor brushstrokes, bring elegance to low-light corners and warmth to spaces that need a gentle lift. In summer, it responds beautifully to the season's warmth, sending out fresh leaves that unfurl like soft whispers of life. What makes it so beloved is how undemanding it is. Forget to water? It forgives. Don't have direct sunlight? It doesn't mind. It adjusts, it endures, and it stays beautiful all the while. If you're someone who prefers calm to chaos, who finds strength in softness, this plant might be speaking your language. It reminds us that transformation doesn't always come with noise or drama. Sometimes it simply shows up, quietly vibrant, quietly strong. Next, we'll explore a houseplant that wears its colors proudly and dances in the light like it was born for summer. 9. Tradescantia Nanuk, the pink statement. If summer were a plant, it just might be the Tradescantia Nanuk. With its bold stripes of pink, lavender, and green, it doesn't whisper for attention, it sings. Place it near a window and watch how the light catches its colors like stained glass. It's a daily reminder that beauty can be bright, unapologetic, and full of personality. But don't let its vibrant looks fool you. This plant is as easygoing as it is eye-catching. It grows quickly, rewards you with dense foliage, and even lets you propagate new plants with the simplest snip. In the warmth of summer, it flourishes, putting out fresh leaves that deepen in color and bring a playful energy to your space. Tradescantia Nanuk is perfect for anyone craving a little more color in their life, especially if your days have felt a bit too gray. It's also a favorite among creators, artists, and dreamers who want their homes to feel like reflections of their spirit. As we continue, let's turn to a houseplant that brings not just color, but blooms. Soft, velvety, and deeply comforting. 10. African Violet, the gentle flowerer. There's something undeniably tender about the African violet. Maybe it's the way its velvety leaves cradle soft blooms, or how it quietly surprises you with flowers even in the stillest moments. In a world full of fast and loud, this plant reminds us of the quiet magic of persistence. Unlike many houseplants that stick to green, the African violet dares to blossom. Shades of purple, pink, white, or even blue, often all through the warmer months. And summer, with its generous light, coaxes these delicate petals out in the gentlest way, turning your windowsill into a mini bouquet. It loves filtered light and a consistent watering hand, not too wet, not too dry. And if you give it just a little care, it rewards you with blooms that feel almost personal, like a small thank you. For those of you who find beauty in small victories, or who crave a sense of bloom in your life, the African violet is more than a plant. It's a sign that even in quiet corners, joy can take root and flower. Next, we'll shift to the bold and dramatic, a plant that doesn't whisper change, but declares it with every leaf. Part 3. Plants that transform your space. Sometimes a plant doesn't just decorate, it defines. This next set of houseplants is for those who dream in bold strokes and want their home to feel alive, inspired, and full of presence. These are the statement makers, ready to turn heads and uplift your entire space. 11. Rubber plant, the statement maker. The rubber plant doesn't just grow, it anchors. With its thick, glossy leaves and upright presence, it brings a grounded energy into any space it enters. It's the kind of plant that makes a room feel finished, intentional, like it's holding the atmosphere together with quiet strength. In the summer months, this plant reveals its most graceful side. New leaves emerge like tight scrolls, slowly unfurling into perfect ovals that shine with deep green, or even rich burgundy, depending on the variety. Place it near a bright window, give it time between waterings, and it will reward you with steady, sophisticated growth. But more than its looks, the rubber plant holds a feeling. It's calm, but commanding. Strong without needing to shout. For those of you creating a home that feels both beautiful and rooted, this is your match. It's ideal for minimalists, design lovers, and anyone ready to bring a sense of structure to their space without sacrificing warmth. And now, let's step deeper into the indoor jungle, where the next plant waits, wild-hearted and wonderfully untamed. 12. Monstera Deliciosa, the indoor explorer. There's a reason the Monstera Deliciosa has captured the hearts of plant lovers around the world. It doesn't just grow, it unfolds. With every new leaf comes a sense of drama, wonder, and a little bit of wild. Those iconic splits and holes, called fenestrations, make each leaf look like a living piece of art. In summer, the Monstera truly comes alive. The long days and warm air spark a flurry of new growth. Leaves that begin tightly curled, then open slowly, revealing bold, jungle-like shapes that seem to say, "Look how far I've come." And maybe in some way they reflect how far you've come too. It thrives in bright, indirect light and appreciates a little space to sprawl or climb. Offer it a moss pole and it will rise. Let it trail and it will wander. Either way, it makes your space feel more alive, more intentional, more you. For anyone craving transformation, who wants their space to feel like a sanctuary and a story, Monstera is your green muse. Now, let's meet a plant that reaches high toward the light and fills your room with bold, tropical confidence. 13. Bird of Paradise, the bold visionary. The bird of paradise isn't just a houseplant, it's a declaration. With its towering leaves that fan out like wings mid-flight, it brings instant drama to any room, as if it's always reaching toward the sun and inviting you to do the same. Even without its namesake flowers, the foliage alone is enough to stop you in your tracks. Summer is when this plant begins to stretch with the most ambition. Give it a bright corner, and it will rise, leaf by leaf, statement by statement. Each new blade emerges like a banner of boldness, strong and full of life. It thrives in light, in space, in homes where creativity and energy need a place to land. It's not the most low-maintenance plant, but it's not needy either. Just consistent light, warmth, and water, and in return, it gives your space presence. Purpose, power. For those of you dreaming bigger, craving something that mirrors your vision and potential, the bird of paradise is your green reminder that it's okay to grow tall, to stand out, and to take up space with pride. Next, we'll slow the rhythm and step into a quieter, softer kind of beauty, where stillness is just as powerful as boldness. Part 4. Soothing plants for mindful living. After all the boldness and color, there comes a need for stillness. This next group of plants invites peace into your home, perfect for creating quiet corners, calming your energy, and supporting those tender moments when you just need to breathe and be. 14. Peace Lily, the breath of stillness. There's a reason the peace lily is often one of the first plants people bring home. It doesn't just sit in a room, it settles it. With wide, dark green leaves and graceful white blooms that rise like gentle flags, this plant brings an energy that feels sacred, like a deep exhale at the end of a long day. It asks for very little, just indirect light, moist soil, and a moment of your attention when its leaves begin to droop, a soft signal that it's time to reconnect. And in return, it offers air purification, quiet beauty, and a kind of emotional steadiness that can ground even the most chaotic days. In the warmth of summer, it responds with soft growth. New blooms slowly unfold, and the plant subtly expands, like it knows this is a season to stretch, not wildly, but gently. It's a perfect companion for your bedroom, your reading nook, or anywhere you turn to for peace. For anyone seeking balance, softness, or simply a sense of calm in their space, the peace lily reminds us, growth doesn't always mean rushing forward. Sometimes it means finding stillness and blooming right there. Now let's meet a plant that doesn't just sit quietly, but moves with you, in rhythm with the light of day. 15. Calathea or Bifolia, the living rhythm. Some plants feel almost alive in a different way, as if they're not just existing in your space, but moving through it with you. The Calathea or Bifolia is one of those quiet companions. Its wide, silvery green leaves shimmer like brushed satin, unfurling in perfect circles that catch the light and reflect it back softly. But what makes this plant so captivating is how it responds. Its leaves lift slightly in the morning and relax in the evening, following the rhythm of the day like a slow, meditative breath. It's a plant that doesn't just live, it reminds you to feel alive. In the warm, humid air of summer, the Calathea thrives. It loves filtered light, moist soil, and a little extra care when it comes to water, especially if it's free of chemicals. But what it gives back is a sense of serenity, beauty, and presence that's hard to describe and impossible to forget. For anyone who values quiet rituals, lighting candles, playing soft music, sitting with your thoughts, the Calathea orbifolia becomes more than a houseplant. It becomes a gentle rhythm in your daily life. And as we prepare to close this journey, let's finish with a plant that not only grows, but heals. Growing yourself this summer. And just like that, we've journeyed through 15 living companions, each with its own rhythm, its own beauty, and its own quiet lesson for the season ahead. Maybe one of them spoke to you. Maybe a few sparked something you hadn't felt in a while. A craving for color, for calm, for growth. But remember, this wasn't just about houseplants. It was about you. The version of you that's ready to welcome something alive into your space. To pause for a breath, to notice a leaf, to nurture something simple and real. Because every time you water a plant, you're watering presence. Every time you check for new growth, you're reminding yourself that healing, joy, and transformation don't happen all at once. They happen little by little, leaf by leaf, day by day. So tell me in the comments, which of these plants will you be bringing into your home this summer? I'd love to know where your journey is leading you. And if this video gave you even one moment of peace, joy, or inspiration, please like, share it with a fellow plant lover, and subscribe to Earthly Delights. Until next time, stay grounded, stay curious, and as always, keep growing.